I am currently sitting in my twin-turbo SUV, but there's a catch. It didn't always look like this. When I got this car, not only did it look like this, but it looked even worse. So this is what the car actually looked like when I got it. You might be wondering, where are all the parts? Well, they were actually stuffed inside of the car because the insurance company removed them all for estimation reasons. And you can see the marker here, here, here. They made almost any excuse to drive up the estimation price. Now, every successful rebuild that I've ever done has always had a few steps in common. That first step being, remove every old broken part first. Now, this is mainly to kind of clear up your working area. It's really hard to know what parts are broken and what parts aren't without actually removing them and getting down to the bare bones. Now, the next step for me usually includes ordering as many parts as possible as soon as possible, because obviously the sooner you order the parts, the sooner you'll get those parts. Now, it's more likely than not that you will miss a part or two, but it's better to order as much as possible than to kind of procrastinate and drag out the project. Now that the parts are ordered, we can go ahead and start on the next step, and that's reassembling the car. Now, of course, some parts will arrive before other parts, and since cars are just one big puzzle, you can't really put it all together while missing some crucial parts, but you can go ahead and kind of tie up some loose ends in the meantime. Now here comes the fun part. Once the new parts actually start to arrive and you're actually able to put the car back together. This is by far my favorite part of the process because in just one day the car will go from this to this. So now we're on more level ground, but it's still not perfect. But I tried to make the camera as level to the vehicle as possible, and you could probably tell that this side is lower than this side, and that could be due to the reinforcement being a little bit bent, but most likely it's due to the frame being a little bent. So instead of taking an extra month of getting the frame pulled a quarter of an inch, an eighth of an inch, instead we're just going to adjust the reinforcement. And now that the car is sort of in one piece, we can go ahead and start the next step, and that's body work. Now for this project, I was lucky enough to only have to do one panel, and that was the front bumper cover, and honestly, it went pretty smoothly. Okay, so we just finished painting the bumper yesterday. It's been drying overnight, so it's nice and dry. If you look up close, there are some imperfections, but all in all, it's not too bad. Once that bumper is painted, we can go ahead and take a lot of our new parts and some of our old parts and put it together and finally have a full, complete front bumper assembly. It was during this process that I found out that I actually forgot to order one part. And this is why it's so important to make sure that you order as many parts as possible during that first step, because I forgot that my grille was broken. And after 3 weeks of waiting, I still didn't get that grille, so I ended up finding my own way around that issue. But this is a perfect example of why it is so important to order your parts ahead of time, because it's so annoying to have the car so close to being finished, but you're missing one part and it all falls apart. Now, one of the last steps that I usually take is I like to button up any little issues here or there. So putting trim back, making sure all the gaps are good, and making sure the car doesn't have any weird noises or issues. One way that I personally like to find out if the car has any issues or not is to just take it for a test drive. So I just got home and I was thinking, why is the airbag light on? If we look in here, that's a sensor and it doesn't have the plug in it. Like a genius that I am. So I'm gonna plug that in, and this one too. So let's see if that fixed my airbag light. please. There you go. Now that we've resolved all the issues that we found during that test drive, we can go ahead and get the car aligned. And then of course inspected. And finally I was able to fix my grille. Alright, well I wasn't expecting to make the rest of the video today, but my grille that I ordered 2.5 weeks ago just gave me a notification that it arrived 3 days ago when it hasn't arrived. So I'm just going to assume that that is no longer in the question. So I got this other grill from a junkyard, and you might be wondering, why is it a different color? Well, it's because I'm going to reuse this section, but I'm going to reuse the tabs from this on this, and basically it will be able to fix the clips down here and up here, and then we should be able to finish the car today and finally post it for sale. All right, I took both of them apart. If you couldn't tell which one's broken and which one's good. Well, I broke a couple, but honestly, it's pretty solid. All right, after a lot of fiddling, I finally got the grill into place. It did not want to fit, I don't know why, but I finally got it in there, so I'm going to put the front bumper on, adjust all the gaps, and hopefully we're done. And once that was done, we can finally move on to the last step. And that is, of course, to step back and appreciate all the work that you just did.